Welcome, everybody. I'd like to call to order this meeting of the Susquehanna Township Board of Commissioners. I would note that all commissioners are present, with the exception of Commissioner Hissero, who is excused. His grandchild is graduating tonight from kindergarten. We did meet in executive session before coming out and to discuss matters of personnel and other issues as permitted by law. When I have a pledge of allegiance followed by a moment of silence, and if I could ask Commissioner Napper to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Welcome, everybody. We will begin with petitions, complaints, suggestions from citizens. Does anybody wish to address the board tonight?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Please come forward to the podium, state your name and address, and try to limit your comments to 3 minutes, or Mr. Napper will go crazy.
Good afternoon, evening. Tanya Johnson and my husband James Johnson. We are residents of the township, longtime residents, 2333 Thornton Road. And there's an issue behind our property, which has been in existence for many years. We've tolerated it for many years. But now it's getting to the point of what is the township planning to do with the dump site running parallel to Locust Lane in our backyard, which is becoming more of a nuisance. And when we say dump site, we don't mean couches and tires, we mean dirt, debris, tree trunks, cement, asphalt. It's getting worse every day, every year. I have pictures. Would you like to see them? I have pictures.
No, that's okay.
Okay.
But you could share them with our manager when you
I will
get
certainly
a
do
chance.
that. To Ms. Everly.
Yes.
That's the main concern, but more immediate is the wildlife who are inhabiting that dump site. Now we have foxes that are running around like pets. And, well, yeah, but the foxes are more of a concern. We have all kinds of wildlife, but the foxes are the concern. I looked out my window today, which is why I'm here, because there were 3 of them romping around out in my yard. That's unacceptable. And I think that it's because they are conveniently housed in that area right beyond our yard. Now, that area does extend to others, but ours is most accessible. It's like right there. So, can you tell us what are your plans for that dump site? I'm sure you have a proper name for it, but it's a dump site.
So this is behind your house,
Yes.
right? And it goes down towards Edgemont Park?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
And there's a catchment area for leaves. That's where we have temporary storage of leaves. Does it go as far as that? Leaves in the fall time?
It goes, it's expanded. It was on closer to the south side. That access road that comes up, that's right behind our house.
Gotcha.
Okay, on the south side, which is closer to the playground, that's where it started. Years ago, they used to gather it, ship it out, make compost. That's not
Yes.
happening anymore. Now, cement, big tree trunks, asphalt, dump site.
Yeah,
All right.
there's no leaves anymore. I haven't seen them.
Oh, they don't do that anymore?
In a long time. It's,
Okay.
like she said, it's dead wood, cement, looks like, asphalt. You know,
Okay.
it's just-
I would encourage you to speak to Manager Eberly, and in the back of the room there is Travis Meese, who is our highway guy and deals with that. I don't know if that's our property, Travis, or not, but, oh, it is?
It's your property.
It's our Edgemont
The
holding
township
facility.
dumps there.
Okay, I got you now.
spoke to Leanne today. I spoke to Game Commission dispatcher number 15 today. Obviously, they can't give out their names, but it just came to a head. I mean, we don't have any problem with, you know, the wildlife, but when it gets out of control, it gets out of control.
Okay.
It's out of control, and so is the dumping. It's out of control.
And some of the animals that are there, particularly the foxes,
Mm-hmm,
I've seen some rabid ones where I had to call the game commission
yeah.
and they came out. But, you know, they're growing every year.
Yeah.
Like,
Like
I
the dump.
remember one year, there were some kids that were, you know, born during this time of year. And I remember looking out my dining room window, and they were running around in the backyard like kids, like puppies.
Mm-hmm.
They even ran around the house, barking. I didn't even know they barked. You know, and I sent it out to the community, and, you know, people were amazed that, you know, they were acting like that.
Okay, well, I'm glad you brought this to our attention, and I would encourage you to speak to Manager Eberly, and she'll probably work with Mr. Meese to address your concerns. Mr. Meese is right back there by the
Okay.
window.
You all didn't know about this, and Mr. Carr-Hissero is our commissioner, and he has been very helpful with other issues that we've had in
Oh,
our
good,
neighborhood.
that's good to
And
hear.
I'm sorry that he's not here. I did text him, emailed him, and he knows, and he said he was going to look further into it. So
Good.
I'm gonna make sure that Mr. Carr-Hissero sees this, and I will be in contact with him, and we will go talk to whomever you said, because we all need to do something about that dump.
Absolutely.
Amen.
Well, thank you for bringing it to our attention.
I can't
Have a
believe
good
you don't
evening.
know about it. Hello, sir.
Ouch.
Come to the back of the room.
Anybody else wish to address the board tonight?
Oh, you have-
I have a number,
Okay,
and I talked to Travis about it earlier
okay,
today.
all right.
Anybody else? Once, twice? Hearing none? Okay, moving on. Approval of minutes, May 14th, 2026, board, regular meeting for the Board of Commissioners. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
And second, comments or questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Recognitions, none at this time. Public hearings, none at this time. Traffic studies, none at this time. Does anybody have a traffic study they'd like to discuss tonight? Chief, you didn't have anything, did you?
No, sir.
Okay. Ordinances, resolutions, contracts, et cetera. First up is the intermunicipal cooperation agreement proposal with Middle Paxton Township. Mr. Meese, could you please address this for us?
Good evening, Commissioners. So basically what you have in front of you, it's been in your packet, it's a consideration of motion to approve an intermunicipal cooperation agreement with Middle Paxton Township, with Susquehanna Township, to provide a service of combo hydrovac truck service, plus an operator at a fixed daily cost of $1,280 a day. It's a year term.
Okay, anybody care to enter a motion?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Moved and seconded by Commissioner Cross, sorry, Fred. Any comments or questions?
Just a question on the cost. $1,200 a day?
A day.
Okay. Very good.
Anybody else? Any questions, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
Just general word of thought consideration. This is great. I know we cooperate with other municipalities. Let's do this more and more often.
You might see another one next meeting.
Yeah, good.
Glad you support.
Yeah, great. One step ahead of you. All right, next up is authorization to advertise a public hearing on the Ordinance Chapter 13, Part 4, massage establishments, and Mac's not here. Tracy, you want to take that?
Absolutely, and he apologizes for not being here this evening. This is not the first time you've seen it. We first introduced this back March 26. It was replacing a very outdated ordinance. We engaged various stakeholders through the process. At every step, we revised the ordinance to reflect the needs of the stakeholders. And at this point in time, it has everything in it that we've been asked to bring forward. And I just would like to commend Mr. Breach for all the work that he's done to get this ordinance to the place it is right now. So at this point in time, we're ready to ask that this be scheduled for a public hearing on July 9th.
Okay.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Felona, seconded by Commissioner Engel. And that'll take place during our regular meeting.
Yes, sir.
That night, yep. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, next up is the STEP Phase 2 Grant Resolution 2026-R07. Deborah Lee.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. As we all recall, we did a very thorough STEMP report, and in that STEMP report, it identified some opportunities for improvements operationally in the township. And the way the STEMP grant is structured, it provides for opportunities to fund some of the recommendations they have put forth. We have identified a priority for the township. When the STEMP folks were here, they had suggested that we consider the digital transformation of the township. There we go. Specifically looking at software for admin, financial, permitting, just modernizing our entire system and getting a system that relates to each other. Right now, we have separate systems. So the resolution identifies a ask for a 50% match. We don't anticipate the $188,000 to be spent this year. Probably if we do get the STEMP grant awarded, it won't be until August. So the total ask is $376,696. 50% of that would be $188,348. That includes the financial permit, utility software, the payroll system software, and each of those systems comes with, we're asking for a 3-year subscription. So all of this would get us implemented and then pay for this subscription services for 3 years.
Motion to approve. Second.
Moved and seconded.
Thank you very much.
Now, this is approval of the authorization for a grant, seeking a grant.
So it's authorizing the financial part of that. So the grant has been submitted pending this resolution approval. It's just a portion of what needs to be included in the grant. We don't anticipate, this works on the state's budget timeline, so we don't anticipate having an award until August.
All right. Any other comments or questions?
How does this fit into our budget for this year?
Thank you. We have budgeted $100,000 this year. I don't anticipate that if we get this awarded in August, that we would even spend the $100,000. We would just have to allocate the additional $88,000 in '27.
I see. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Is that it?
Just briefly, do you have a system in mind, or is it way too soon to start?
We'd like to, we weren't, the folks here in the finance department and even some of the, we're not involved in the initial, so I think we'd like to go through an RFP system, RFP process to identify the candidates as we did the last time, kind of basically reset and start over.
Yeah.
So no one initially, this was based off somebody, we got a couple quotes and we took the medium level quote in terms of what the cost might be, because you're wondering, how did you come up with $203,000, right? So we just took a medium quote and use that just for the basis of the grant, not necessarily for the vendor of choice.
Thank you.
So is it a separate vendor for payroll? I know-
Most likely, the payroll system will be a separate system. We would just want to make sure that it works with whatever system we pick. But the hope is that the financial, the permit, the utility will all be one system. Right now, we have 3 separate systems, more or less.
So you plan to continue to have a separate payroll system?
Some of these do have payroll systems, not every company. The priority is to get the financial, the permit, and the utility software all talking together. And if they do have a payroll module that we we certainly would consider that.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next up is the DEP Growing Greener Grant Application. Canals.
Thank you, Warren. Actually, it's a proposal from HRG to assist in putting the grant application together for Growing Greener. With the DEP grant and with the Growing Greener program, there's some science that has to be involved in that application. What we're currently looking at is Asylum Run from Andrea Avenue down to State Farm Road. We've identified 4 points where the stream bank erosion is getting very close to compromising the trail. One section is about 4 to 5 feet from the trail at this point in time, where if we get a major storm, we're gonna start losing the trail. So the Growing Greener grant came to our attention. It's a really good grant in the terms that it's only a 5% match, and the max is a $500,000 grant ask. So if we would need the $500,000, we'd only need a $25,000 match. We're not gonna be close to $500,000 to put together this study, so we know what to do, and then this will set us up better than for Growing Greener in the future to do the construction and do the stream bank restoration throughout the entirety. So the proposal is in 2 phases. One is do Asylum Run analysis and technical assistance in terms of determining the various silt runoff and size and everything, and the various permits and pollutants and everything that we would need for the grant application. And then phase 2 would be assistance in putting that grant application together for DEP. The grant application, I believe, is due June 22nd of this year, and then I would probably be coming back at the next meeting with a resolution and a financial commitment for the match at the next meeting.
Yeah. So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments or questions?
I have a comment.
Yes, sir.
For what it's worth, I understand that this is not the application for construction, but considering the terms of the grant, just throw in the kitchen sink.
Yeah.
Just throw in absolutely everything you think you might need.
We did discuss that. About 5-6 years ago, DEP was doing both design and construction.
Yeah.
And now they've gotten away from it. We can reassess, and we actually have a meeting set up with DEP, so that'll be a question I'll ask, because I want to make sure we have the best application possible
Sure.
for funding. So I'll bring that up and say, hey, can we do this and design and construction as part of the application?
Just my thought, not
Absolutely, I agree.
no demand here, but I mean,
If we can leverage as much money as we can for as little match as possible,
right.
it makes sense.
And could we use it in different areas if we did go over?
Well, what do you mean different?
Like it, say you were just talking about Asylum Run and State Farm.
Yeah.
Say there was another area throughout the township that we could use that funding for, could we? Or does
It's
it have to
possible.
be in that area only?
It's probably gonna have to be in that area. We'd have to get
Okay.
approval from them to
Right.
move it if
Okay.
we need to, but I would imagine if we are allowed to do a joint application design and construction, we're gonna max it at 500.
Right.
And we would probably be looking at another type of grant to come up with the remainder. 'Cause I would imagine the construction side is gonna be well above 500.
Yeah, just go for it.
Yeah.
Doug, my question is similar to Commissioner Napper's. You identified 4 places on Asylum Run. I think I've seen more than that. Are we limiting, are you gonna have HRG identify the spots, or have you already identified them?
We did a quick walk and we identified those 4 critical. Yes, there's actually a section where one of the outflow boxes for the sewer is exposing,
Right.
it's totally eroded underneath as well.
Is that one of the 4? Is that, or?
That was number 5.
Number 5, okay. Yeah, that's what I mean. I think there's a few more,
Yeah,
so.
so we're looking at the entire stretch, the plan for restoration, not just those points. It'll be the entire stretch of the street from Andrea Avenue to State Farm Road. It's not gonna just be those couple points, because DP won't fund just a piece. They want to fund an entire section to prevent any damage in the future.
Yeah, that sort of goes along with Sean's, throw it all in.
Yeah, it's a pretty big, it's probably about a mile and a half stretch of the street.
And I know significant portions of that are along the easement for the sanitary sewer. So does the authority need to sign off or be involved in the request at all?
It would probably be a letter of support at this point.
Okay.
And, I'll talk with Lauren and everything, but I think a letter of support from the authority at this point would
That'd be helpful, I'm
be
sure.
very helpful.
Yeah. Good.
Mr. President, I just have one thing to add to the motion, as recognized by our solicitor. We should include the cost of the proposal. And I think the way the motion is, phase 1 is 48, not to exceed 4,800.
Yeah.
And phase 2 is not to exceed 4,100, for a total of 8,900 for the grant proposal.
Is the mover and the seconder amenable to that?
And, same.
All right, sounds like we have a motion. Comments, questions, last call. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Thank you. You hang out here. Next up is our 6-park master plan presentation featuring Dougie Fresh. That's what you know is headliner.
Dougie Fresh.
So as the board is very aware, we've been working on 6 park master plans for now close to a year and a half, with numerous public outreach meetings and open houses and surveys. And we're finally getting to that culmination point. Here tonight to present the plan. It's just a presentation only. We're not looking for any adoption or anything at this juncture. Is Andy Mears and Ann Toole. Andy Mears is from J&T, the firm that we brought in to develop a plan for us, and Ann Toole's a recreation planner on the project as well. So with that, I'm not going to take their time. I'll call up Andy and Ann, and they can go through the presentation.
All right, thanks, Doug.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Commissioners, for having us again. Doug already gave introductions, so we're going to jump right into it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see if this works. Oh, look at that. All right, so as Doug said, we've been working on this for a little over a year and a half, and It's been a very exciting project for us. I can tell you, I've been working on master plan projects. I'm into the business 38 years, 35 of them doing park planning, and I've never worked on a city park master plan. So this is truly something kind of innovative. We've done 2, 3, and there is a trend to start looking at multiple parks, but nothing quite like this. With that said, that document is this big. So we are splitting it into 2. The first part which you have, and then the back is really just a lot of the demographics, the background. So we're going to follow that first part of the presentation, which is introduction to profile. Basically, the first part that you've kind of already seen to get you a quick overview of that process. So I just kind of said exactly why, this is kind of an innovative approach. It's not a traditional approach. In October, as Doug said, we were hired to look at the parks. At that time, it was 5, and then Doug snuck in a 6th park on us. So it became 6 before we started. But it really did work out, because again, and that's kind of what you guys do. You're in a position to take care of opportunities as they come along. And that's really what this plan does. It sets you up for some very big forward-thinking approaches to allow you to seize those opportunities when they come along. So it's very strategic. As you look at a master plan, you're talking about a year just to plan. So one of the benefits is in a year and a half, we did 6. So it's really an accelerated process. And this is your typical master plan. You went through this with Wedgwood. We went through the same process. Conception, someone comes up with the idea, a master plan, and as you follow the flow chart, you see the different steps: analysis, community engagement, recommendations, which is where we're at in the plan, and then how do you implement it? That's the typical. But then the next step past the master plan, how do you fund it? We've looked at some financing strategies, which Dan will go over, and then design and permitting, then you're finally going to construct it. And then each one of those steps, as you know from going through that Wedgwood process, for one park, that can take a year or 2. So you're looking at 3 years. The earliest you can get something built is 3 years. And I'll talk a little bit about the 30% design plan that we did, which is another way of advancing what we've done here. So you're in a really good position with that process. The first thing we wanted to make sure we did was understand your community, not just how many people you have and how fast you're growing and those typical things and your income levels, but who really lives here, who lives around the park, what are their needs. So we did a lot of demographics, and in the back section of the report you'll see we looked at what the age ranges are around, what the walkability scores are, what the racial makeup is, and you can see just looking at Shut Mill and Apple, it's very diverse in those areas. When you look at Latchmere and Apple Creek, it's a little different demographic. So, but I just wanted to show you that we looked at all those things because it was very important to help us inform the decisions. Just like the one on the right, we also looked at the different age groups, and you can see the concentration in the different areas, which was very helpful when we met with the public. The process was really rooted in community engagement. And as you know, we had the social pinpoint site, which really provided a lot of background information on the process, but also allowed people to engage and give us real-time comments and for us to respond back and address anything. It also helped to bring awareness. So the social pinpoint site was really key for us. We did a lot of interviews, some programs. We had a number of workshops with staff, public meetings. We talked to a lot of staff as well. So really engagement was key to helping us inform the design. And what we came away with was 4 strong points. Was people really liked the parks. They saw them as trailheads. They want more than just what the traditional parks offered. They wanted them to be different. The trail connectivity, because this process was really born out of your 2017 comprehensive park plan and also your 2030 sustainability plan. So people really recognized those recommendations and saw the benefit of connecting them. They also wanted community-centric design, looking at preservation, making sure they're all unique and accommodating not just active but passive recreation. We also learned that there is some needs, and while these are neighborhood parks, they can't address every need. So sports facilities that were needed, we wanted to document and show that we heard that strong from the community, but things like pickleball courts, indoor gyms, they're just not appropriate for these parks. And while we're not considering them, it's important to recognize that they are still needed. So what we did was come up with a program, and we also, for our meetings, wanted people to know what a neighborhood park is. A neighborhood park is, as you all know, 1 to 10 acres. It's more for drop-in activities. You may have a bench, a little open area, a pavilion. It's not rooted in having large events and things like that. So that's one of the reasons that some of those facilities, dog parks and the like, those facilities typically require more investment and more maintenance and ongoing and really aren't appropriate for a neighborhood style park. And all 6 of these parks are in the size range and really function as a neighborhood park. Creating identity was also important to everyone. Having the same identity across all the parks, but also having some individual identity to them. 2 things that kind of surprised us was us, maybe not you guys, but the neighborhood gateways and spur trail connections. We heard that a lot. This is a park that I worked on in Newark, Delaware, and you can see, I'll test Doug's, you don't have the pointer, and this doesn't work on the screen. So anyway, the trail that goes across is kind of a spur trail. The University of Delaware is to the right, and that trail is 14 feet wide. So that is your long distance trail through the park, but you can see it's designed in the park. And a lot of your parks have that opportunity to connect to the capital area greenbelt, but still provide opportunities for walking and things without it being a distraction or a safety issue. So integrating that into the design is something we heard from folks as well, having those spur trail connections, but also having them serve as somewhat of a neighborhood gateway to getting out and about. So we took all that information to help us stay on course, and we came up with these 6 guiding principles which helped us inform the design, which was number 1, create unique parks for each. Multi-generational play. We know there's lots of folks now having their in-laws or older folks living with them. The housing makeup has changed, so multi-generational play is very important. Enhancing the ecology, not just providing stormwater, but how can that stormwater be a feature, connecting to the green belt, and first and foremost, ensure safety, and then emphasize infrastructure. And what I mean by that is we heard over and over restrooms, and I just got done saying how some things don't belong in parks, and here we're promoting neighborhood restrooms, which you typically don't see in a park as well, but we have to design to what the needs are, and those really, we did hear that in all 6 parks, especially if they're going to serve as some form of a neighborhood gateway to those parks. So, we're going to run through each of the designs. I know most of you are familiar with it, so I'll try and give a higher level presentation, but on the left, connectivity and the defining features is next, and then ecology, because we wanted to show that each one had its own defining features, they all connected, and then how can we bring those ecology in. So Plum Alley, 0.8 acres, very small park. As you can see by the homes around it, it really serves as, the backyards are small, we're in a denser area. So this park is very important because it serves as the open space and recreation for everyone, as opposed to, say, Apple Creek, where the lots are larger, and that has a different feel. So again, create design to the identity of the neighborhood, not just the site. The unique thing about this site is in the middle, there's a hill. So we used that hill to design around it and really create the signature feature, which is the playground. So the playground is along the hill, along 39th Street. We know the kids stop there for the bus, so you can see the left circle there, just a small gateway entrance to the park, but that also serves as a bus stop. So it has a small little picnic area, some benches. So it serves as a multifunctional entrance to the park. As you come in, the walkway winds around, and I'll talk a little bit about the walkway a little bit in another slide. We have a small half-court basketball court that's below the hill. And then you can see the pictures. One of the unique things we heard was a lot of kids learn how to ride their bikes here. So we recommended a traffic garden or trike track to learn, repaving the basketball area that was up on the top of the hill to service that. And then we've added along Plum Alley some parallel parking areas to also serve as a drop-off and provide ADA access to the park. So in the section view, that orange line that goes across, this is looking along that line so that you could see the slope difference. So you could see the restroom building. On your left is a parallel parking area, the little traffic garden, and then you can see how the hillside playground is built into that slope, half-court basketball, and then our rain gardens. We use the social pinpoint site to get comments, ask people what they thought about it, so we got very favorable comments, and people like the defining features. So when we go over to Apple Creek, this park is a lot different. It is an existing park that was dedicated as part of the residential development. So right now it's void of anything other than some street trees there, some grass, and there is a soccer field there that's used. So the long-term plan would be for that soccer field to eventually be relocated somewhere where it can be utilized, and this could be a green open space. So the defining feature here is really that brown area with the trees. Number 10 is a tiny forest. They call them tiny forest, microforest. I'll give you a little more explanation as to what that is, but it made sense with this neighborhood. The walkway, number 8, that winds through kind of highlights the green space, and then to the south end, we have playground, restroom, and then a multi-purpose soccer pitch, which could include multiple different spaces. Another unique feature is the playground is designed into the meadow. The dark green area is at the bottom there. We're really using the meadow as a transition area from the street to kind of highlight that area. So we have a lot of more ecological opportunities in this example. So the tiny forest is a way to build a forest quickly. You're utilizing trees, planting them closer together, and the understory plants as well. So you're able to grow it in a lot faster than the typical 80 years that it takes to establish a forest. That'll not only protect the edge of the park, but also serve as a buffer to those other yards. And this is really a project. The other beautiful thing about this is that you could do that as a standalone project with the community or the neighborhood. They can do that, and you could do that now. You wouldn't have to design the entire park because you're really just planting that area and it's already there. So you could move ahead with that as a standalone project. We also wanted to stay consistent with all the parks, so having consistent signage, but also bringing some art into the park. This is just one idea that could be looked at, is to use glow stones. Obviously, your parks aren't open at nighttime, but you could highlight the entrances with something creative like this in each one that could kind of bring it together. Just looking at other options other than just the signage to make it a little, not just unique, but bring it together. And as you can see, it's pretty level out there except for the edges on the right where we have the wildflower meadow transitioning out into the street. I also didn't talk about the entrance plazas. Along, you can see number 1 and 6 there. Those are the entrance defining features, so benches, some paved areas, just to kind of define the 2 entrances into the park, and also looking at some traffic studies to improve the intersection, because we heard a lot from folks about speeding, things like that in that area. For State Road Memorial Park, this was very challenging because of the fact that we're located in the floodplain, which imposes a lot of different restrictions. So the focus on this park is really how can we enhance what's here, provide a better user interface, and more critical, it is like at the doorstep to the capital area of Greenbelt. So this by far has the most opportunity to really serve as a trailhead. So improving the basketball court, improving access and circulation within. We're recommending, as you can see there, at number 1 and 2, that Adams Alley be closed off and become a pedestrian only access to tie to the neighborhood. And then looking at some features in and around the existing building to make improvements for the different users. So top left is just a crosswalk along Adams and how that would create that gateway into the park. New signage, gateway features right at the entrance. You can see misters behind the backstops there. That would be a central gathering plaza. Adding some shade sails that would add to those features, and really just updating the building's interior and the facilities that are in there to better serve the public. Latchmere. This park is really a total transformation from what is there. Currently, the buildings, as you know, are condemned and still there. But we are looking to unearth the existing culvert that's under there and help to manage stormwater and create a large bioretention area here, as you can see in number 16. And there are some pictures there to the left to kind of enhance the ecology, but at the same time improve the function of the park as a stormwater management facility and addressing stormwater through the park. With that being natural, we added a natural playground, so this park's identity takes on more of a natural feel, natural elements, natural facilities, and it's all rooted in that type of design. We again added a pavilion and playground area, and there are definitely opportunities. We set up the park as a trailhead. You can see the walkway as it winds through there. In that Newark example, that walkway winding through would be a wider path to accommodate cyclists, so this could really function as a trailhead with those spur trails connecting on further on. So as you can see, there's the hillside, and then the pavilion in the middle, and then the stream overlook the vegetated side slopes, and again the other hills. So this park, as you know, is down in a small little valley. Now the important thing about Latchmere is that once you take the buildings down, you don't really want it sitting there empty like that. Yes, the buildings do have some liability and safety immediate concerns, and they should come down, but what happens next? It might be a while till you're able to build that park as it is. So we are recommending that you have an interim design concept for this park, meaning remove the buildings in such a manner that you can preserve certain things to use it on an interim level. For example, you can see the existing bituminous driveway at the top. We can retain that, utilize that for access from the neighborhood, keep some of the concrete around the pool, the small pool. Fill that in, create a green area, keep the temporary storage building, use that for programming, add some shade to it. And then obviously the dotted line is the perimeter of the pool complex, and obviously that would all go. But grade that out so that it becomes a just flat, usable area. So what you're getting as part of the demolition, if you do it correctly, is a usable space that's temporary for the neighborhood until such time that you can actually implement the master plan. So what would that possibly look like? As you can see that the walkway coming in here, the building there that we would retain, get rid of the fence. Maybe you can keep the lights so that you can have some functions there in the evening. So you can see if we remove all that but keep some of these things, it can be used by the neighborhood kids. You have some tables, chairs, it still becomes somewhat of a park that is usable in the interim. Margaret McNaughton Memorial Park, long name. So this park is one of the ones, along with Shutt Mill, that we received comments for, that we, along the way that we updated the plans. But really, this park is really about connectivity and providing some immediate facilities for the neighborhood. As you can see, the bottom neighborhood is a little more denser, so you've got lots of different folks in this area. So on that open space is a grand lawn, number 9 there, and around that lawn you can see the walkways have little pods along them. So at number 10 would be a little sitting area, different creative seating areas. Then number 13 would be a little ninja course. 11 would be a half-court basketball, and then the restroom and the pavilion located in the middle, and then a unique type playground located behind that. So we have all those facilities active in a row, and then the walkways kind of transition back into Boyd's Park, linking the whole thing together. We did have some parking area in here, but we received some comments on that, so we made sure we addressed that. One of the notable things here is the woods. So we created an overlook and just a tree house when Ann did the camp day, that was overwhelmingly, and from all the kids, and that's one of the things we try to make sure we're listening to everyone. Things we heard from the kids over and over is they wanted a tree house or someone. So this was the place to incorporate that concept, so you can see some of the images of what that is there. And as we look at the sketch here, you can see we're bringing that walkway, accessible walkway, straight into the canopy and creating an overlook, which is kind of a direct response to what we heard there. On Shutt Mill, we really worked with what was there. Pretty much the design is exactly what's there. We're coming in, turning around, and going out. We've added a restrooms, we've added some meadows because you've got a pretty steep hillside. So we have a lawn area that works with the pavilion, but then the meadows transition and protect the stream and then transition into the woods. This park allows us to have lots of different loop trails, which is kind of the defining feature in connecting to the neighborhoods, but it also sets you up to go beyond to connect to other trail systems that are proposed as part of the 2017 plan. We have some natural trails through the woods, but also some paved trails, a gathering area in the middle, and really adding bird boxes and those types of natural elements in this park as well. And then the cross sections, you can see it's a little more steep. This definitely gives you the flavor. You can see Shutt Mill Road and how steep it goes down to Black Run Road, and then where the pavilion is on that top section. So we got 6 neighborhood parks connected your largest park of 10 acres and 0.8 acres at Plum Avenue. Really 2-3 million per park, other than McNaughton Park. So we're looking at 15 to 19 million for total if they were all to be renovated all at once, which is not typical, but this is how we approach it, so that's where we are. So, you know, the comments were very favorable when we looked at the overall for each one, because we allowed the community to respond online, and these were the results. So the other thing we did was a 30% design. So what is a 30% design? 100% is, okay, these are done, we're going to bid them and we're going to construct them. We, because of the grant that staff was able to secure, had enough money in that grant that we were able to take one of these parks and advance them to make you more shovel ready for your next grant approach. So you don't have a master plan to submit, you've got a 30% design, which is figured out more, graded, you're a lot more advanced. All you have to do is permitting, finishing out the detailing, so it gives you a good start for that. So why did we pick Plum? Why did we pick that park? Well, working with staff, but also looking at a needs assessment based on what we thought. You hired us as professionals, so we did an analysis of each park, not just our typical site analysis where we looked at the soils, which we did, that's all in there. We looked at the slopes, we looked at everything. We also used Project for Public Spaces. They have a park rating criteria, which they look at things like uses, sociability, access, linkages, use, comfort. There's a number of criteria, and we took those and made our own criteria, used that as a base, looked at accessibility, social infrastructure, comfort, and use, and ranked the parks. Because of the safety issue, obviously, Latchmere was first, but there is a plan for a temporary opening of that park. So Plum Alley scored a 1.5, and Stabler was at a 3.3. So that's why we selected that park with input from the township. You can see the slides, or the swings that used to be there when we started the project. I know they've been gone since. You can see the connectivity, the sidewalk ends, you can see the chip and peeling. So based on those things, that's how we chose that project. Worked with staff, worked with what we heard from the kids and everything. You can see it, the kids climbing up there. That's the type of slide we're looking at, trying to go up the hill. A restroom facility, the hills. These are just some of the ideas that we worked with to come up with that design. So you can see this is a 30% design. The grading is done. It's accessible. The one thing we couldn't achieve here was a loop trail. Everyone wants to be able to walk in a loop. But you can see at the top right as you come down between that brown and the blue, those are two sets of stairs. You would have to go like this to make that work. So we have steps there, but we created a mid-loop in the middle so you could, at the bottom of the steps, do that small loop, do the top loop. But the parking is there, the facilities are there, and there's a whole set of drawings there ready to advance to the next steps. So, and we'll talk about how to make this all happen and what it means.
You need a 7th inning stretch here.
Yes, I was very long-winded.
How we doing on time, Steve?
You got 1 minute.
Oh, that's easy. You have a checkbook. Well, you've seen the results of approaching 10,000 different comments that we've had. With 9 out of 10 of those comments telling you that this is important to them. So what we're recommending here isn't possible in most communities. It's a strategy to make this happen. And why is it possible here? It's because of you as elected officials and how supportive you are. We saw many of you at our events and taking pictures and posting online about what was going on. So you know there's support there. So the other reason is your professional staff. You'll have Teresa as your township manager, who is superb at figuring out how this all fits with overall township goals. We have Doug and Heavenly, who are the reason that we had such high public involvement here. We don't see that everywhere. I have to tell you, one of my favorite professional experiences ever was a fourth grader when I went out with Doug to one of the camps, gave me a sparkly ring. Because what she said, she was involved in the design part of it. And when she gave me the ring, she said, "Thank you for listening to us." And so what she had to say mattered, and I keep that ring on my kitchen window. Now, when I look at it, on a bad day, it makes me feel good. But it tells you how going down and making all these operational decisions are going to matter. Some things have to happen simultaneously to make these 6 parks work. That means capital budget, operating budget, staffing, programming, and maintenance. Those are the critical elements. So what we have developed in collaboration with Doug and Teresa and Heavenly and your maintenance staff is an approach to build capacity over time. Oh, thank you. Okay. So maintenance, we did calculations on numbers, and you're going to more than double the hours that are going to be needed to maintain these. And long-term, maintenance is the most critical factor. It's keeping the park safe, clean, functional, and beautiful. Is going to protect your investment, and you're going to be investing significant dollars here. So maintenance is really important. So we have a phased approach. We don't think you should have to do it all at once. So you have to phase it in over time. So we have some recommendations of adding in 2027 one maintenance person working up over time to 4 to 5. What are the things that, whoops.
That's your 1 minute warning.
That's what? Well, I can keep going. We're also recommending programming. Because programming is what will activate all these parks. And what we're recommending there is a mobile unit. So that instead of having people come to the parks, we're going to the parks. And we're calling it Parks Without Borders. So that Doug and Heavenly and their crew can have a year-round recreation programming that will welcome people of all ages. We just don't want the 5 to 12. We want people of all ages to come out who feel welcome. And in your very diverse community, this is really important. And the Parks Without Borders can go to your whole park system. It's not just these 6 parks. In our strategy, we looked at your whole system, not just these units, these 6 units. You have a great parks and recreation system. Expect one of these days to be named Agency of the Year, right? Okay. Oh, and financing. What we're recommending here is right now you're spending about 2.5% of the operating budget for parks and recreation, which is under the recommended minimum of 5%. So there's room to grow here. Your per capita is low too. It's about $40 per capita compared to $71 nationwide, or probably about $60 in the state. So what we looked at were some funding tracks. And we realized that the buck stops with you, so this is an important part of your decision making. So we looked at these 5 areas that include your reserve fund, your mandatory dedication, which you're working on a new aspect of that. And your township has been really successful in grants. We heard tonight a presentation for the next one that you're going for. But the bad news about grants is they need a match. So when we did projections on this and we looked at what grant funding is likely, the township needs more money than is available through grants and their match. So it's an investment that long-term will pay off for you. We looked at you have potential to borrow. You as a board are in an excellent financial position. You're fiscally responsible and accountable. The public supports your decisions, which is another unusual finding for us. And we looked at, there's an Act 115 where you can generate up to 0.25% of 1% of your EIT that can be used for investment in building these new parks. But 25% of that can also be used for maintenance. So we did some number crunching on that, and at the lowest amount, you don't have to go for the whole ball of wax on that. You generate between about $500,000 to about $2.5 million a year, depending on how much you would want to generate for that. Based on our survey research and our approaching 10,000 data points on all this work, we are sensing a very high level of public support for what you do, for your decision making, for parks and recreation, and for the development of these parks. So it merits serious consideration. In other communities, we would not even put our toe in the water talking about this, but with the level of support we've seen here, we think that it's worth considering. So the action plan here. I'm going to read every single word.
Just for you.
You got 1 minute.
So this is, you can use this as a reference. But what we wanted to show you was that this project is 6 neighborhood park master plans, but they're not going to happen alone. You need that column on the left there. That's where the strategy is, the staffing, the maintenance, the capital and operating funding, and especially the programming. So they're all woven together in our strategy. And it's all phased in, so it's not dramatic all at once. But we do need, we're asking for 2027 consideration of 2 important positions, 1 maintenance and 1 program. That will help you to generate more support and a higher level of revenue generation and exactly what the public wants. So you can see how we've woven this into short, medium, and long term. And you can use this as your reference even when you're having your budget discussions.
And I apologize, but that is not in the one that you have.
But I did give them a copy of the action plan.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, you covered for me.
Deliberate.
So year one, we're recommending make Latchmere safe and do the design to make it a really nice public space. And move ahead with Plum Alley, move ahead with your programming, think about doing mobile recreation programming and bumping up your maintenance. So in year one, that's very realistic. After that, we have decision-making processes, how you could decide where you want to go next, what parks you want to do next, how you want to get your mobile van. We're kind of high on that mobile van because we think that creating public awareness and people feeling welcome will really be to your advantage as council, because people are going to see that in their neighborhoods, delivering services close to home. It's convenient, they don't have to go anywhere. So that whole program area would activate these 6 parks and do a whole lot of good for the community in terms of public awareness and support. So, well, we kind of went over all this, so you don't have to do that again. So what do you need to ask us, or what else do you need to hear?
It's a lot to digest.
It is a
Wow.
lot.
I've got one question. You mentioned that the cost of maintenance would go up. Did I hear you say that would double, or did I just dream that?
Well, the number of hours in these neighborhood parks, because there's not anything there right now, for the most part.
Okay, and you also said that we were at 2.5%, recommended 5%. I think that's where I got my double.
Oh, there you go.
So, is that, am I thinking that through correctly, or?
No, what we gave you in this are some benchmarks, so they're not right or wrong. They're just kind of a gauge to see here we are. It's like if you were already at like 5%, we would be, ooh, where do we go with this? They're kind of maxed out. But you're not maxed out in terms of normal practices in supporting your park system. And really, in the last 3 years, your park system has grown. And it needs to keep pace with maintenance.
Okay.
Your staff that you have does a lot with a little. They are right now with your population, you should probably have about 8 to 10 parks employees for programs, administration, and maintenance. You have 3. Hats off to them.
Doug told you to say that, right?
Yeah. He's gonna get me an ice cream cone.
Plum Alley is the only one that doesn't have a direct access to the Greenbelt, by the way, so, of these 6. So,
So I guess the next step is, we take this information, and the strategy you put together, and we fold it into operational planning as well as budget planning, Teresa. And
Yeah.
all the other aspects of governance.
Teresa and I had a meeting this week, and we're actually going to, probably through the summer with the Recreation Advisory Committee, we're going to develop a new strategic plan for the department. We've been focused so heavily on the current master plan, and we've accomplished quite a bit. And we look at that every year, but we're seeing all the things that are in there from the beginning. So we're going to take away everything we've accomplished, everything that we identified as ongoing practice, look at what's there now, what's left, and incorporate what's being recommended with these parks along with Wedgewood as well, and kind of develop a new plan.
Gotcha. That's a very nice presentation. Anybody else have any questions or comments?
Thank you.
Before we move on? Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you for more than a bit.
He's tough.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
my thought is, very briefly, we can do this. I think this is a source point of hope and inspiration. Honestly, we spend an excellent amount of money on public infrastructure and public safety. And this is about beautification and quality of life. And I think that's important to remember. We don't have to do this all at the same time, but I think we can do this. I think the township has an interesting role to play in this time and place. And to have this 6-park master plan put together, thank you very much. This was eye-opening, to be honest with you. To incorporate this into the overall budget and operational and management goals, I think we can do this. This is just great news as far as I'm concerned.
It's a hopeful message. Thank you, Sean. Did you two happen to know that we have a bird sanctuary in Susquehanna Township? Doug, you didn't tell them?
I did.
We do.
It's in the mighty 6th Ward.
It is.
These 2 gentlemen are well aware of it.
Well, the birds are still there? I'm not sure though.
I have not checked. It's not my job. No.
There it is.
Anyway, I just throw that out there. But that should be the number 7 attack on the master park
I
Play.
tried to slide something in, they just wouldn't buy it.
Not in charge of birds.
Okay.
Okay.
Avian. All right, thanks again.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to the consent agenda. 3 items. Approve an extension of the deadline for installation of improvements at Ridgeway Church, 525 North Progress Avenue, until 5/23/27. I noticed the signature was Sam Faber. Teresa?
I'm sorry, sir.
The signature on the letter requesting the extension
Yes.
from Sam Faber. Is he the doctor? Dr. Faber?
I'm not sure.
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Number 2 is ratifying the hiring of Madison Bates, who we met last month, as our customer service specialist effective May 4th, 2026. And approve the hiring of Craig Mose as mechanic effective June 1st, 2026. Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments or questions? We had the opportunity to meet Mr. Mose, and I think he's going to be a great addition to our mechanic staff, and he also knows his way around fire trucks. That's what I hear.
And he's a Phillies fan.
And he's a Philly fan. Reluctant, though.
That's a bonus ticket.
Any other comments, questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Whole business, none. New business, is there any? Commissioner comments? None. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion to adjourn by Commissioner Sanderson, seconded by Commissioner Napper. Comments or questions on the motion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.